Good afternoon. Welcome to the ArcheAge stream for this Friday. I am so happy to see that we immediately see Stealthy Bass say, Trino, 1 minute late. Yeah, come on, man. We do our best. It's Friday. Cut us some slack. I'm Linda Carlson, also known as Brass the Dwarf. I'm the Director of Community here and also get to be the Community Manager on ArcheAge again, which I'm super excited about. I know you're all going to be super happy to see that Crolin and Sock are both back from Gamescom. They're back from their vacation, and they're here to answer this 7 pages of questions, or as many of them as they can answer.
All of them.
Yeah. So, did you enjoy Gamescom?
Yeah, it was great. You know, we were out there for a week, and we got to hang out in Cologne, and we actually met up with a couple of fans too, some ArcheAge players, but it was great talking to the media and being back in Germany. I think that was the 3rd time I've been there for ArcheAge. So.
And you got to visit family again,
yes,
too? That's
afterwards,
kind of nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gamescom is definitely my favorite show.
It is a fantastic place to be. Hopefully you can meet us out there next year when folks go again. So we'd like to start by talking about the ArcheAge 4th anniversary. Happy anniversary, everybody. Yay. 4 years of killing each other mercilessly. That's got to be worth something.
And farming.
Yeah, shout out to all my fellow farmers there. That's still my favorite activity. It's terrible. So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on for the 4th anniversary
yes,
this year?
absolutely. So there are a couple things that are going on right now. If we can switch into the game cam. Are we already in game? Oopsie. Oh, are we in
there
game?
We go.
Okay.
Now
so
we're moving to game.
The arena,
we are.
We have a water gun arena that people might be familiar with from last year. It's re-enabled now for the 4th anniversary. And it is a 3 versus 3 arena that you can participate and shoot each other with water guns, and you get rewards for it. I'm going to go ahead and queue for it right now. Hopefully my colleagues will join me.
Demonstration.
Yes, absolutely. It's a super fun festival. You can have 3 daily entrances to go into the arena. You get to pick one of 3 different colors. The different colors give you different abilities to your water gun. And then the rewards that you get at the end for it depends on whether you win, lose, or draw. When you win, you get 4 Curios badges and 4 unidentified Hiram infusions. When you lose or you get a draw, you get 2 of each. So 2 Curious badges or 2 unidentified Hiram infusions. And so it's just a ton of fun, and it's a good way to get some Hiram, get your Hiram leveled, and get some Curious badges.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I have the 3 different colors I can pick from. I'm going to go with purple.
Oh, this is awesome. I have not seen this yet. I'm really
it is a lot of fun. I should have gone green because now we have 2 purples in a team. And it is a 5-minute arena. You have a 5-minute timer, and basically, as soon as the 5 minutes are up, whoever got the most damage or the most kills on the other team with their water gun is the winner. Lots of fun.
Yeah, and Mostna says, stop telling us stuff you can just read about on the website.
Yeah.
Dude, some of us want to see this too, like me. So you
there's
just
other
wait.
Stuff.
We have answers coming.
With the arena is live now. We also have the ability now that when you go on the marketplace on a special tab, once a day, every day, you can claim a 500 labor pot for free. So it's free labor for you every day that you can claim.
Yeah.
There is also coming a little bit later on the 26th, the Tiny Treasure Taffy event, which allows you to claim one of 3 tiny treasure taffies.
Wait, what are they called?
3 tiny treasure taffies.
Tiny treasure taffies?
Oh, you
tiny treasure taffies.
I've been practicing.
Say that twice more. Come on.
No,
you get 3 of
I'm
those
done.
per
I'm on
day.
my limit 1 time.
And they allow you to pick one of 3 different buffs. I can show you those right after the arena. And so that's what's going on right now for the 4th anniversary. Later on, when 5.0 goes live, we will also have another event in game. Korea had that as the Jake Song event. We will get that as well.
Ah, cool. Okay, so that's really great stuff. And okay, so we have some really unique giveaways for later in the stream. Actual physical items as well as other items to give away. So how long does each match take?
5 minutes.
5, oh, that's pretty good. And you can do it 3 times a day?
3 times a day.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I just like to see Clowny doing a face plant. That makes me really happy because his outfits just kill me all the time.
Clowny's still
he's
around?
The best. Yeah, he's still around.
Yes.
Is he actually in the match right now?
Yeah, he
Rat Pie
was.
Is here. Yeah. But so yeah, that's basically what's going on for the event right now. I'll go ahead and switch the environments in a second. If we can go to big cams, we're going to go ahead and switch onto an internal server that has the current 5.0 build on it. So I will run around while you guys do the important talking.
The important talking. Are you kidding me? Okay, so tell us what happened at Gamescom. What did you talk about to players?
So we were mostly talking to press, and we were talking about the upcoming release of 5.0. And we basically had a gameplay demo, and it's my intent to show you guys some of that content over the next couple weeks. But yeah, we had a really good showing. It was nice being out there talking about ArcheAge again, and it was pretty enjoyable. We got a bunch of positive response around it.
Now, even more interesting to me was that XL came here and you guys had some meetings right here on site. So, spill some beans there.
That's true. It seems like quite a while ago now. I think it was last month, and the XL Games teams, including Jake Song, visited our Tryon studio here in Redwood Shores. And we had 2 days of great conversations about kind of the state of the game, what we have upcoming in the future, and they gave an inside look at the content roadmap for 2019. Now, I'm one to say that, one of the things that I really love about ArcheAge are these big, bold systems that sort of, no other games really have. And, it could be something as crazy as the Heroes system or the Nation system or the way we do open world combat. But ArcheAge really dares to do sort of, break the barriers and do things that people haven't seen before. And in my opinion, over, maybe the last year, we really haven't seen any systems that are kind of that caliber. We went through a couple trade pack revamps. We saw the naval arena, and sure, those are things that people always wanted. But these are not the systems, in my opinion, that I feel are like the fundamental part of ArcheAge. And talking through with the XL Games team, they sort of unveiled this content, and this is the part where I kind of have to be tease a little bit here, but I got emotional in some of those meetings. The stuff that they were revealing as a longtime ArcheAge player was just the stuff I always hoped that we would one day get to. And it's sort of that content that, maybe I cried, you're right, Littlefinger, I did cry in the meeting. It was just maybe one tear, but when they were revealing the concept...
Soon he's going to burst into song, just like in Moana. I
was, maybe not that.
Now I'm waiting on that.
No Moana. But in that meeting, I was just sort of expecting some quality of life changes and maybe some side grades to systems, but man, that roadmap was just, it was pretty out of control. And so I think that, if we stay on that track, we're going to see some of the great things that we've always wanted to see. And now I can't be super revealing about it because a lot of that's, not really talked about, and XL needs to lead with releasing that content. But some of the things that I've always looked forward to is the further exploration of Aurora. And every once in a while in these recent updates, we've seen maybe 1 or 2 new zones, but I feel like we've kind of, been working towards some of the deeper lore in the game, and it was nice to actually see it. So it gave me a lot of hope. It got me really, sort of like reinvigorated, and it was the thing that I needed to, be the strong advocate for ArcheAge that I have always been. And so it was a great time and good conversations.
Yeah, it remains one of the most deep and complex games that I have ever played, that's for sure. All right, so are we going to talk about the Global Art Contest now?
Absolutely.
So we
can hop back into the game.
Sokka's she put together a gallery for you guys to see the stuff.
So I am in an internal 5.0 build. So you're going to see Korean, the usual that you guys sometimes see when we are on internal builds. But we can finally now announce the winners of the art contest that we had. I made a little museum right here with the winning entries. So the winners for North America and Europe are Itchy Lily with her picture Itchy on a Rock on Retribution. Then we have Zero-chan from Shadigan with his picture Sweet Sorrow. And then we have Silent Hunter on Iana with the Delphina Ghost Ship Heart mode right over
like
here.
That a lot.
Then we have Eri from Tempest with the picture Holler Avalanche over here. And then we have, lastly, Kithira from Conviction with the picture Life is a Beautiful Ride. And so those, nice. I think Tynan said he was going to mail out those rewards today.
Yep, he
later
did.
Today. So keep an eye out for that. And so those are the winning entries. Congratulations, everyone.
Yeah, congrats. They're really awesome looking stuff.
Absolutely
Just
beautiful.
So we know that you guys can do art really well now. So we were having a discussion earlier on the internal channels about yeah, we should totally run a contest, right, Francisca? You're totally going to manage the contest
Yes.
for us, aren't you? All right. So there's that, and all right. So the next thing I want to look at, and I don't know if this is going to be here or not, but are you going to demonstrate the Eagle Glider for us?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I cannot. This is, without a doubt, the
best
coolest,
glider.
the coolest
Yes.
glider ever.
So I think available on the marketplace already right now is
Yep.
the new Eagle Glider.
It is indeed. So
Behold.
you can buy the Eagle Glider crate on Legacy or Fresh Start, or for 650 loyalty, you can buy the Eagle directly. Now, how amazing is that?
It is absolutely.
So what I really, really want you to do is to find something to attack, because the animation is
Okay.
incredible.
I will go and find something to attack, which is not this area
And so you
right
guys
here.
pointed out in
Sorry.
chat that we are on our internal server. This is a 5.0 build. You notice the carpet in that house was customized. And that's because, it's one of the new 5.0 features, the ability to decorate the ceiling, the walls, and the floor with UCCs. We'll talk about that and give you a little bit more, a closer look at it in a future live stream, but you guys were right to point that out. It is something new, and how did you pick that floor, Sock?
Randomly, I just uploaded. I looked for like red carpet picture and uploaded. It's via UCC, so you can upload anything you
Nice.
like.
Okay.
And
Cool.
apply it
Like
to the
that.
walls.
Well, while we're on 5.0, we have a couple of questions that you can actually answer at this time. So, for instance, and some of this looks like they're going to be PTS questions, of course. But when the hero voting gets locked down on live due to the evolutions, could PTS keep their heroes, please? Heroes on PTS during testing phase do have a use, such as the hero summons to help new characters that use fluffy commands to get to the hero hall or Haranya Nuya continents.
Okay, so is this your list of 7 pages of question
Yes.
that
it is.
everybody in chat has asked?
Yes.
Okay, and this is from the forums, actually?
Yes,
Right.
they're from
Okay,
the forums.
so I'm going to try and get through this stuff, and I'm happy to take questions from chat after this, too. I see some questions coming across, so we're going to get through these first, and then I'll jump into chat and answer some of the stuff you guys are asking for.
Right.
But for that question
That's
specifically...
beautiful. Sorry, got distracted.
It's okay. It's easily distracting.
Sorry, I'll stop it.
For PTS,
In a second.
one of the things about the hero system is it sort of runs on this back-end automated system, and it's a little bit challenging for us to preserve it or adjust it. You guys have seen that in the past when we've encountered issues with it. So I can't really make any promises about the PTS hero system, but I realize the challenge of getting the hero status there due to the player base that's there. So I can't really say that we'll preserve it, but we can look into it and see.
Okay, the patrons who are on, what should we be stockpiling material-wise so people can actually test stuff related to 5.0?
I may have been gone for a while, but I'm not going to get baited by a what should I stockpile question. So,
Oh, darn. That was my question, too.
you guys have seen the list of content that's coming out, probably in Korea or through some of our creator sites. And, you guys have to guess at that stuff. We're not going to get baited there.
Okay. Is there going, and this is a question that was asked a lot, is there going to be a tax change? The rumor is it will change to a 300% increase for the third property based on what happened in Korea.
That topic came up when the XL Games team was here. And basically, we will likely get whatever system they got. Now, it's undetermined exactly if that will be with our 5.0 build, if it will be something that follows, or if it will change before we get it. So, basically, if they decide to apply it to our build, then we're going to get it, and we don't have confirmation on that now. So that's kind of like a non-answer. But the bottom line is, if they decide to update taxes in that way, we will also get that change.
Right. Okay. Now there were 3 really good, long, extremely articulate questions that were posted, and I'm going to posit these to Merv right now. Are you considering the release of a subscription or buy-to-play server in the future? Though a controversial topic, this type of server is something that a lot of people would be interested in. The thought of playing ArcheAge as a game that does not require an army of alts to keep up is quite attractive. Apart from that, the microcosm of the game has changed significantly through Hiram Gear, which requires much more time than gold to get and cannot be sold or bought. This is leaving the community without much reason to buy and sell Apex. The result can be seen in the dramatic price increase of Apex on the auction house. For that reason alone, a new approach to monetizing the game might be in order. What are your thoughts on this? Crolin.
Okay, was that one question?
That's one. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thoughts are that question is quite articulate. But to the point, I mean, that's something, if you guys have watched previous live streams, and I've had this question before, my personal opinion is I think that ArcheAge would greatly benefit from some sort of a buy-to-play model or a subscription service. We've talked through why that hasn't been the case in the past, and I feel that, some of the main grievances that people have with the game is the free-to-play business model that it's always had. So, my personal opinion in response to that question is that we would greatly benefit from a subscription server or a buy-to-play model. It's regretful that I don't have any new news about that, but I'm not going to say that it's out of the question. It's something that as long as I work on ArcheAge that I will advocate for and that I will push for. Even to the point when people are sick of hearing me talk about it, I will still talk about it. So it's just something that I think we need to consider, and I sort of agree with you folks out there who are like, ArcheAge could have been great, but I think that there's a lot of life left in that sort of a model.
So one of the interesting things is that last year I ran a panel at PAX South, PAX East, and PAX West, and it was free to play versus pay to win, and had informal polls in each of those, and the number one preferred method of paying for a game for these people or supporting a game was a subscription service. So it's interesting how people's thoughts are coming around full circle. We'd love to see your thoughts on this on the ArcheAge forums as well, because believe me, we read them every day. Excel demands and requires a report every week of everything that you guys think, so it's definitely listened to. Change doesn't necessarily come fast. There's a lot of factors that go into making changes, but the feedback is important. So the second question is, if ArcheAge remains free to play, how will you guarantee a stable supply of Apex on the auction house?
That's a challenge. I've actually watched on server as the price of Apex, especially recently, has just sort of jumped dramatically. On legacy servers, it has always been the case that Apex was kind of on the higher range for gold. And I think that's just sort of, I don't know if it was in that question, but I read somewhere some person's thoughts on that. And they were kind of saying that, Apex is sort of less desirable now that everybody's relying on Hiram gear, or a lot of people, a larger percent of the player base has the option to go to Hiram gear. So Apex is sort of spun in a direction and is somewhat out of control. Now, we've talked about what solutions there might be to solving that problem, and we're open to your suggestions. I don't think anything's going to be super clean. There's no one thing that could very easily fix it. But we have considered the idea of potentially capping the amount of value that Apex is worth, the velocity at which it can be purchased, a maximum that it could be sold for in gold, whether it gives the right amount of credits for its value, whether subscriptions are accurately priced in credits. And so those are just some of the factors that we're reviewing. And we're also very sort of like in tune with the climate of what other games are doing that use a same sort of a token system to purchase a subscription. And so those are things that are being considered right now. But I have to end that comment with saying that we do recognize that the price is sort of out of control now with Apex and its gold value.
There were a number of questions which were asking about the return of events. They particularly want Rum Runner, honor events, drop rate, curious badges. Are we getting anything for Halloween, Thanksgiving, or the Christmas holidays this year?
So let's start off talking about the anniversary event that's active right now. I wanted to say that we did propose a triple everything event. You guys know that we've ran that in the past, but unfortunately it was not agreed upon, and instead we have the taffy that gives loot drop percentage. I thought it would be great if we had a solid, week-long triple everything event. But unfortunately, I did not come out victorious in that conversation, so we have the events that are in place now. Now, the second part of that question was about the events that sort of are not really based around a holiday, but maybe occur on a month-to-month basis. I do feel that Excel sort of has a design strategy now where they're less focused on these monthly events and more focused on quick iteration of larger content. I am very much supportive of that because while the events are cool, it's even better to have permanent systems in place. And so I think that they've sort of repurposed their design resources to support those permanent systems rather than short-term events. Now, I'm pretty sure we will have Halloween Holotide and all of our seasonal events that are upcoming, at least the major ones, but maybe we'll go without some of the smaller ones. Or if it was the case that it would just be the same as a previous year and it would be like the 4th time that we're running it, maybe we won't run it.
Okay. Can we get a regrade event? 1 year without one, LOL. I know Obsidian gonna die, but let us have fun, no?
I don't know. Maybe we'll make some deal and maybe we'll have a regrade event, but I know that I would prefer a Hiram Infusion drop rate event or a loot drop event instead. So
yeah, okay. And people keep asking about the mistakes of the art contest. A lot of that was out of our hands because Excel ran the contest. The 6 winners pertains to a typographical error that was in the rules. 5 were picked, and 5 is the number of people who are awarded for them. So that's the end of that story. You can really stop asking that question.
I'll be honest with that too. Like whenever we have these sort of globally aligned events that every region is intending to participate in, there's a decent amount that gets lost in translation.
A lot.
And the regional reason why we said 6 and then it ended up being 5 was it was theorized at one point that there would be 3 winners from a region, and we support 2 regions, so that would be 6 winners, but it ultimately ended up being 5. So there was some confusion there, and I just have to apologize for that.
Yeah.
But a lot of that, there are the challenges of it getting lost in translation or it changing mid-process, and that's what happened there.
People are asking how you dye that car, and is it hard to dye?
This is a new feature also coming with 5.0, which is the dye ticket and the Rampage Chroma. And now it's going to be a conversion recipe that's available that allows you to convert your current Rampage into a dyeable version of the Rampage.
Okay.
And then with the dye ticket, you can change it to whatever color you like.
That's amazing. Okay,
So
that now
Never
makes...
mind me doing stuff in the background.
Yeah, no, that's super cool because this is stuff that I haven't seen before either.
And that same dye system will then later be applied to the costume system as well. So you can, instead of crafting that one potion that you need to apply to your costume, you can pick whichever color you want off the palette.
Gotcha. There is a question from chat that I found interesting. Red Dragon weapons cannot currently be upgraded on Fresh Start. Is this intended?
We currently have a bug in for that. We don't know what phase that was supposed to be included in, so we just have a query open to Excel on if those Tier 2 Red Dragon weapons will be upgradable on Fresh.
Very good. Okay, one more question before we get on to the... Oh, no, 2 more questions before we got... No, 3 more questions before we get on to evolution. So, bear with me. What are the real chances of getting a red, green, and black dragon? 33.3% each? I already have a red dragon. If I get another heart, I cannot be sure of getting a green or black dragon. So what's the point of having made an achievement asking us to get all 3? Go, Krolin!
I'm going to say you're right. It is a pretty monumental task to get multiple dragons.
Which I'm gonna be lucky if I
can't
get
really
one.
speak to the logic behind such an achievement, but maybe if you go that hard, there's something for you to work for. I don't know. I don't have a good answer there.
How many dragons do you have?
0. Negative dragons, yes. But I will say that you mentioned in that question if the drop rate is equal between the colors. It's not. Black is the most rare. So that adds even another curveball for you there. Good luck on getting many dragons.
You can do it.
Okay. Psychoactive Haze, speaking of the glider, please bug fix Eagle Glider and RD gliders being Dragon Roar immune. Are they?
Oh, I do not know that.
This is cool to know. I'm making
But that's good to know, yes.
Okay. So here we go. Let's talk about a ship. I recently got a turtle ship. Why is that ship so bad? 60k HP, 20k less than any ship. Can only get 20 people on it, only 3 cannons each side, and 15 different spawn to get it. Oh my god, it took 2 hours to find the good spawn.
Yeah, I know that Korea has had similar feedback to that. And that's most of what I can say about it. We don't actually control the balance of those ships, but I've seen multiple pieces of feedback from other regions about the same thing. I personally know that it's probably really challenging for XL to add new ships to the game that are perfectly in line and balanced with everything that's there right now. The meta has really been established over the last years, and adding something that's competitive but not better is extremely challenging. So I will trust that they will take that feedback and do what's necessary to make turtle ships comparable or at least on par with your many unknowns or whatever you're sporting these days.
So just make sure that you make the flag of your ship something appropriate. And here we go. Where's the pirate faction statue? Where is the pirate faction statue? Where is it?
Not a
Took it
fun
home.
answer for that one. There's a, oh, you stole it?
Yeah.
It sounds
Really?
like a pirate thing
It's,
to
you know, I like it. So I put it in my living room. I'll bring it back.
do. We have a
guess.
not exciting real answer, though, and that's that there's a bug in for it.
What does that even mean?
That
means that it's
we
in front of
reported to
Excel,
Excel,
and they're
yes.
looking at it, and
They are
it
aware
could
of
take
the
a while.
issue, and hopefully
Okay.
it will be resolved very soon.
So, Turbo Chaos wants to know, is it Easy or Ezzy?
Ezzy.
Ezzy.
Is Ezzy going to get the trophy you promised for killing RD?
Oh,
Promised
man.
them that. Give them the pirate statue instead. It'll be great.
Clip that for me. Clip that promise. We talked about this internally, and I need to make sure that I didn't say that it would be for if Fresh killed RD. I know there was a challenge. I know that challenge was accepted, so clip that for me. If I said it, I'm going to do it.
Okay, we got it.
I feel like I
Alright.
recall you saying that first kill on Fresh will get it.
Yeah,
right?
That's
okay.
great.
We'll see the clip.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to talk about evolutions now. Unless, did you want to break to show us something else here?
No, I'm just slowly going through the zone and showing some of the new models.
Okay, and this is all 5.0.
This is all 5.0, so this is
It's
just a
so
visual of what's
pretty.
going to happen.
Let me grab one from chat real
Yep,
quick before
do
we
it.
move on. Yon3X, you ask about Obsidian. That's going to be a question that comes up repeatedly as we approach 5.0. We're still in discussion with Excel about it. It's a very sensitive topic, so I don't want to speak about it before we actually have very definitive things aligned. But Excel is very sensitive to the way that the reaction was in Korea about the changes to Obsidian. So they're definitely looking into some sort of a conversion system, and then also a system where pieces can be grandfathered in. So that's what the discussions are about right now. I don't have any definition, but as we get closer to release, we will confirm on a live stream or post what the
Right.
end result is.
And have we officially announced 5.0, like what the date is for that yet? Or are we still waiting for some things to fall in place on that?
I'm not sure. I know our immediate sites are targeted on the server evolutions,
Yes.
and then 5.0 will follow very shortly
Okay.
thereafter.
Oh, very shortly after. Ha ha ha. Okay, evolutions. Thank you, people, for putting in questions that even we could not anticipate in advance, and so this will help us fill out that FAQ even more. It's long. It's going to get longer. So, of course, the number one question.
The number one question is, why do we call it evolutions? Okay, maybe that's not the number one question,
it's
but it's
not.
one that I get all the time.
Okay.
And I want to talk about this real quick because they're merges.
When he
here's
says
the
real
thing.
quick, it's going to be like an hour.
I just want to explain my logic here. You guys can agree or disagree. It's totally fine. I'm used to it. But you guys call it merges. We actually call them merges internally too. The reason why we call them evolutions is because in our industry, in our past professional careers, whenever we've done merges, it's always been like server A is merging into server B. But for ArcheAge, we do this thing where server A plus server B equals server C. So we actually open a new server, and because of that, we decided to call it evolutions and not merges. But you guys can call it whatever you want. I see people saying it's merges, not evolutions. You guys, call it like it is. But that's the reason why that sort of weird description exists.
Okay. So really, the real number one question is, what's the actual compensation for the merge?
Compensation pack is going to be pretty close to the previous year. I know that Tynan and AppleGod are currently working with Excel to identify exactly what that is. We do have some conveniences that we didn't have previous years with evolutions, and that's some automation in the scripts when items were returned to players. So
Right.
I'll talk about those in a little bit, but we do have some conveniences we didn't have previously. Now, for the exact information in the pack, that needs to be released in a post. And I'm not going to just rattle through all of the things, but generally we compensate for the time missed, the what you could have earned during that time when you were while servers were down, and then some items that are supportive for your character to relocate to the new world.
Okay, so next question. So we're only going to have 2 legacy servers in Europe. Are you going to increase the drop rates?
I thought that was an interesting question, and I'm just going to assume that you asked that question because there's going to be more competition in areas where drop rates are maybe recognized as better. And I have to say that that's really kind of the design of the system. Some people might agree that with the current low population, there's sort of a free farm thing that's going on with not just, Huron gear or, world objectives. But it's true, when we move from 5 to 2 servers, there's going to be a lot more competition, and that's sort of by design. That's how, that's a fundamental part of ArcheAge.
Okay. Will the Fresh Start server be taken down as well for the merge process, or will they remain available as they're not included?
Fresh is definitely going to come down because
Okay,
there are
that's just
some.
too creepy. Sorry, I got
Just
distracted.
showing
I know
off
it's kind of
the
hard for me.
character
You're asking
models.
me these like super serious questions, and I'm
disguise
seeing
here.
all of these great visuals. I don't know
know,
if
right?
that might not qualify as a great visual. That
Oh
kind
no,
of
that's
qualifies
just
as
creepy as heck.
something
Okay, I'm
that I
leaving.
just saw. Yep, for sure.
One of the more interesting new mobs in the zones, I
Yes,
felt,
yes,
so
one
that's
could
why.
say. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I forgot what I was
Sorry.
talking about.
We were talking about whether we're taking Fresh Start server
Yeah,
down.
so Fresh Start is, as you guys know, when you log into your server, whether it's Legacy or Fresh, you can see that they're on that shared login screen. That means they share some back-end services. I'm pretty sure for Evolutions, we're going to need to bring all worlds down. But since we don't have a build to accompany Evolutions this time around, it's possible that Fresh will come up independently. There's no land rush or anything like that there with a new zone, or 5.0 is not on top of Evolutions. So Fresh will be available as soon as those back-end services are restored and workable.
Okay. Related to Fresh Start, Krispy Kreme 3 asks, will Fresh Start servers get upgraded Serpentis armor into Serp sleeves?
That's, I believe, the set bonus combination for sleeves. I think the question there is whether that's just going to be for Legacy or if that will carry over on
Gotcha.
Fresh. I know that question exists. I don't have an answer from XL on that yet, but I am familiar with that, so we'll look into it.
Okay. You said our patron labor and vocation would have a 24-hour compensation since we won't be able to log in. But what about stipends? If we don't log in for 24, we'll lose a day of our stipends.
That's true, but we have a script in place that should automatically compensate you if you have a stipend active. It should send your potion, depending on what stipend you have active, it would send for each of them when you log in the new server.
Okay.
Sorry, let me grab one more question from chat. 5.0, are we getting 5.0 or 5.1? So generally the way this works is we're going to take the core Korean 5.0 version, and then we will apply probably 1 or 2 months of hot fixes. One of the luxuries that we have is those changes that are live in Korea may or may not be applied to our version based on XL's learnings from if they were extremely negative or if they were, maybe they had a bad result, but they were overall needed for the health of the game. So I don't know yet. I know that we will absolutely have some post 5.0 features in the build. I've seen them already. I can't confirm exactly which of Korea's hot fixes we will have included, but that will all be wrapped up in patch notes when we move to PTS.
Right. I'm just going to jump ahead to something that Joey the Moose keeps bringing up, and it's one of the questions that was submitted about the bear cubs and concern that they're not going to be compensated or reimbursed for livestock.
Yep. So I'm very sad to confirm that is the case. What we call doodads, that's any sort of plantable, including livestock on your houses, do not carry over through the world evolution. You might recall that, 2 or 3 years ago during our first round of evolutions, we made an attempt to preserve beehives, and that was due to their permanency and the value that they had. That was an extremely manual process, and by manual process I mean Big Data Dude and a couple other people are like individually identifying them and then manually mailing them back to players in a process that takes like 16 to 18 hours. I wish we had more modern flexibility around that, but we don't, and that's one of the reasons why doodads go away. I'll never forget when we had that Gamescom party in 2015, one of the biggest concerns was some guy had 24 gazebos all with Yada on them, and I had the misfortune to tell him that they were all going away as well. So it's really unfortunate. You can see Big Data Dude's comment in chat there about the manual reimbursement. Unfortunately, we do have to have a cutoff point with some of that stuff, and the doodads that are placed on your own land will not carry through to the new server.
Okay, something being asked in chat and on the list. For when the legacy servers are shut down due to server evolutions, will PTS be open to both patron and non-patron accounts so that people can still enjoy ArcheAge?
Well, it's not necessarily so they can still enjoy ArcheAge, but it will be open because we should be in the 5.0 testing period at that point. I believe.
Oh, so really
PTS
what
will
you're
be
doing
open.
is you schedule the evolution so that you can get free beta testing of 5.0. Not a bad idea. Okay, and will we have to pick up any items prior to the merge that we would otherwise lose, or will all our items be returned that are on the land?
So it's basically going to be the exact same way we saw it during our last merges. If you have items, they will be mailed back to you on your new server. That goes for items and chests. I know there's some questions around the otherworldly storage chest.
Right.
It should behave the same way as the normal chests do. Now, I've always made the public recommendation that if you have really valuable things that you super care about, that you should somehow cram those into your warehouse or on your person, because I would never personally take chances with that stuff. That's not to reveal that I don't have any confidence in the system. We actually saw it work extremely well during the last evolutions. So I do believe that your items will be reimbursed, but if you have some like super sentimental thing, you might want to just put that on your character just to be sure.
Okay, and are we going to have 1 credit transfers or something so that people can choose which server they want to stay on before the merge servers?
So you guys know that with our current server condensing, you may have comments about which servers are evolving into the new servers, but that was actually the result of 2 to 3 weeks of data analysis by the XL and our team, and we sort of arrived at this to preserve the population balances between those servers. We will not open the 1 credit transfers because it could create a situation where there's an exodus on one server moving to the other one to overload it, and right now the populations should wind up kind of aligned. So I think we need to do that. Now, during the previous evolutions, we had to shut down server transfers for quite a long period actually, and that's just due to the system not working correctly. Since we don't have a build accompanying this evolution, we should just move through that fine, and server transfers should be available for the normal rate before and after.
All right, and how will our login rewards calendar be handled?
A little bit of bad news there too. I mean, for October, you need to be very diligent because that system is extremely inflexible. With the other stuff I mentioned, that, you know, like we have a script that can restore the vocation stipend or the labor stipend, login tracker is just not as flexible. So I'm going to ask you guys to be diligent if you care about the rewards there, and just go hard for October.
All right. So for the characters that are going to be evolved, is there any level requirement? Like if you have level 1 characters that are holding your stuff, will they be picked up and taken along too?
It's a common strategy for people who just have way too much stuff on legacy servers. I know that some people are keen on making additional alts just to hold their stuff. If we ever had a situation where we were not going to transfer some characters, we would do our best to announce that, because that would just be like intentionally losing data, and that's not something we've really had happen with evolutions in the past. So we would give you a warning if that were the case, if we weren't going to transfer level 1s, and I do recognize that as a pretty viable strat if you feel comfortable doing that.
And from the chat there, will fluffy commands be updated on PTS to allow for testing of 5.0? And will the older commands be changed or updated?
It's going to depend on what you guys actually need for testing. When it comes down to, like maybe resources to change your UCCs on your houses or see the way that works, I'm totally fine for that. If the request is we want all epic Hiram tier 3 gear on PTS, probably not. But we can talk to Tynan and Big Data Dude and see if we identify any sorts of absolutely must-haves for PTS testing.
Okay. And there was another one here. If we have the $39.99 credit pack that pays out the credits over 14 days, will we still get the credits for the 24 hours we're not on?
Yes, you actually get those credits regardless of if you play or not. You're not required to log in to obtain them. It's just automatically delivered.
Just stacks up. Okay.
So it will do that regardless of server availability.
All right, and before we go straight over to, we need to give out prizes yet, and some questions from chat. So, how long are we going to be stuck with that god-awful AFK kick, and how long is it before it will kick you off?
So, typically we run the AFK kick timer if we are doing a fresh start server, or if we anticipate an extremely high volume. I do think evolution servers will queue for a little bit, but it won't be so drastic so that people can't actually get in. However, just to be sure, the AFK kick timer will be in place, and you can let me know how you feel about that. If it's overall a negative experience, we'll get rid of it rather quickly if we end up not needing it. But I would hate to have a situation where people could not get on because everybody else was idling or whatever. So we're going to move forward with that. just to make sure it's in place.
And I almost forgot, we added this question again. Jackalope, thank you for the reminder. UCC, what's going to happen with UCC? We know that there's some images that will no longer be available because people have left the game, that sort of thing.
I'm very happy that got brought up because that is just a negative part of the evolution experience. If you have UCCs, you will be granted another crest stamp so you could reapply it on the new server. But you guys who went through it last time know that UCCs disappear. That's because they're saved to the server, and when the server goes away, they're gone. So you're going to need to prepare as best you can. It's really tough for me to say that because I know that some people have UCCs that just could never be replaced. I sadly lost some the same way, but that's just a part of evolution. So do your best to prepare for it. And if you did have a crest stamp, or you will be given the ability to create another one after evolutions.
All right, so, Jackalope, will we get compensations for all our housing and full kits like last time? Full kits are on the list on the FAQ, which is very handy. Do you know much about the castle building full kit?
No, it's probably going to be the exact same way that it was
Probably.
previously. We need to look through that. I don't have every item on the top of my head, so if there are specific questions, please raise them on the forums and we can get answers to them.
We'll definitely get the answers for that. Okay, so let's do the giveaways now, and then we'll answer questions until we run out of time. So,
Okay, fun part.
oh,
Nope,
okay.
giveaways.
Oh, I thought you were going to
Giveaways
add
are
something
fun.
else. Yeah, giveaways are fun. Where if you've said anything in chat, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to X up unless you have not said anything in chat yet. We'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. Today we are giving away 2 Archeum packs. You pick whether you want a Fresh Start or Legacy pack. Giving away 2 Steel Lightnings. We're giving away 2 Eagle Gliders, which I really want
I
one
love
of
those.
Okay, so we'll start with the Archeum packs, all right? When you win this, and when you get a message on Twitch about your win, please specify whether you want the Fresh Start or Legacy Archeum pack. So let's roll them. I'm going to make you read out the names because they're
I'm
various
terrible
names.
at that.
I know, that's what...
Names.
Oh!
I need help.
I'm horrible at it too, but I'll do
Great.
it anyway.
Okay.
So we have the first winner, who is Volton. With 2
Volton,
N's.
congrats.
That's easy to read.
Congrats.
That's easy to read, too.
And second winner we have for the Archeum pack, Felthrone.
Okay, Felthorn, so you guys let us know whether you want a Legacy or Fresh Archeum pack when you get the message from our folks. Now we're going to give away 2 of the Steel Lightning mounts.
Yay. I actually don't have it on this character. I lied. I said I had
That's
it
all right.
prepared,
It's
and it was on
bloody
the
gorgeous. All right, and there we go. There is the first Steel Lightning winner.
Noni.
other one. Noni.
Noni with a G.
Yeah, G-N-O-N-N-I.
And Tupac Shakur.
Oh,
Hey,
con-
He's
man.
still alive!
Great
he-
to
he
see
needed
you.
that
Oh,
mount.
God, hey, long time no
Yeah,
talk.
totally
Great.
needs that mount.
That's amazing.
Okay, and then the last thing we're going to draw for is 2 of these amazing Eagle Gliders. And here we go.
Let's see.
I
Drum roll.
love waiting for the names to come up.
Oh, man.
Radagast 5.
Yay.
How you doing, Wizard? That's cool.
And Queen XD18. Congratulations.
Congratulations on the coolest glider in the entire game. All right, so, right, you guys have any other questions for us?
Well, we have some special giveaways.
Yes,
Do
we
we?
do.
What?
Are we going to do the special giveaways
How do you
now?
do it? Oh my God, yes, I
Yes.
forgot about
Okay.
that.
Let's do
Bring
that
them out,
now.
bring them out.
Okay.
So these are some physical ArcheAge swag that we're going to give away. If you guys commented in chat, you're already entered for it. So the first one we're going to give away, this is actually really kind of cool.
I might have to get closer
It's
to the
a
camera.
phone battery for your mobile phone that's branded like ArcheAge, and Sock's going to open it up and hold it up. This thing is pretty awesome.
It's so cute.
I don't know
It's
if
a
you can
little
see
battery. I'll go.
What's on
I'll
that
take
one?
this stuff. This is a Yada
it. A
battery.
little Yada on it. Pretty cool.
And the thing with physical items, of course, is once we contact you, we actually need to have a physical mailing address that we can send it to. And I believe if you're underage, you need to have approval of your parents. So show them, clip this and show them if you, when you're underage, that you actually want this thing so we can send this to you. I'll try to get a
Okay.
bit closer to the camera. Oh my God, there's so much stuff back here.
I know. So if we completely lose connection and all the lights go off, it's because Sock has tripped over something. There it is.
It's a little dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, imagine a really cool battery with a little Yada on it. All right, let's roll for it.
All right.
Wave Orb, congratulations
Wave
on your
Orb,
ArcheAge battery.
congratulations.
So cute.
Remember
That's
to
so
do
cute.
all of the stuff Sock said because we have to
Yes.
physically mail it to you, so that's important. All right, the next thing we're giving away, this is another cool little item that XL has. It's a personal cooler.
Fan.
It's a little
It's like
fan,
a fan.
but it's branded with Yada on it,
Yes.
so it's
And
pretty cool.
And it's USB, so you can
Get
run
it?
it straight from your computer.
It's a little desk fan for you that you can plug in. There's a little Yada in the middle of it.
Yeah, pretty fun. All right,
Okay,
let's
who
see
wins
who's
this one?
lucky enough to get that one.
We're going to need your full mailing address, including your country.
X Lunar Fox X, congratulations on your Yada cooler fan.
And with foreign countries, of course, if we send it out of the States, it could take a little while.
Oh, gosh.
Just because of
And
customs and everything.
It may disappear forever. We don't have a lot of control over,
Yes.
over it once it leaves the U.S. And now, one of the coolest things ever.
Okay, this one's special because these weren't actually really publicly given away. There were some exclusive ones that may have been in Korea, and we only have a few of these. But it's an ArcheAge
Yeah.
umbrella.
And we wanna
I know
show
that
it.
sounds sort of weird, but it's actually really cool. Some of us who work on ArcheAge got them, and I've told Sock that she's
not gonna
allowed to
open
take
it.
it out of the plastic to show, but she absolutely cannot open a black ArcheAge umbrella inside. Absolutely no. I'm too superstitious
So
for that.
superstitious.
But it's
And
actually really high quality. It has the 3.0 logo on it. It's pretty solid.
so is it RNG that made you suspicious? Scared of bad luck?
No, I'm just, a lot of
Superstitious
a lot of
altogether.
superstition for, the last couple years. Don't open a black ArcheAge umbrella inside. That's all I'm
Okay,
saying.
got it. All right, so now we got to roll for who wins this. Dun 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 dun. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Come on. Ah!
Cool crew.
Cool crew with K's.
Congratulations.
Congratulations on
On
your ArcheAge umbrella.
I hope you don't
Absolutely.
live in California or you will never use it. But everywhere else
Man,
is helpful.
last time it rained at my farm was in March. It's really
Oh, and
awful.
it was horrible. I remember the flooding, right?
Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Yes. Oh, look, Clowny's showing off his own little umbrella. That's so sweet. Anyhow, if you have any other questions for us just before we... Okay, so will Fresh Start get the statue buff that Legacy got for killing TWT?
If you can provide a clip of me saying it, the answer is yes. I will still follow through with that.
Be right back, photoshopping clips. All right, and then will Fresh Start in the future, or does Fresh Start get merged into Legacy?
That is a tough question. And it's one that I'm taking very seriously because previously, at about the 9-month to 12-month period, we took Fresh Start servers and we merged them back into Legacy. Now, it's a little bit more complicated this time around because we have things like Legacy Luna Gems and Obsidian Gear, and there's some disparity with the items that were available on both of those server types. So we need to approach with caution. That's not an answer that I can give very easily, but I do have sensitivity around that. Now, those sorts of things are combined with, is the population acceptable on Fresh Start? And so those are the things that we'll have to weigh, and hopefully we'll arrive with just the absolutely perfect compromise and everything works out perfectly.
All right. Now, one of the things that I've seen quite a bit is questions about the trade packs. And Haley Bopp asked, can we get rid of the percentage timers on packs?
So there are changes coming to trade packs with the 5.0 update, which is not the timers though that are changing, but the way basically the inland trading packs are disappearing, and so it's going to be specialty to trade outlet and then trade out cargo overseas for charcoal or dragon stabilizers. But there is no change currently that I can see
for the
actual
timers.
percentage timers to change.
That was a hot topic when the Korean team was here. We actually talked about the trade systems and the many iterations that it's been through. And I think, there was a good moment when all of us and Jake were sort of nodding at, those changes and how we sort of missed the original concept behind what the trade system was, more of this sort of like point of conflict, risk versus reward, travel across the seas, hope you don't get ganked, hope you gank other people. And it's really sort of deviated from that, and we missed the original conceit. So hopefully that's a bright light for the future about that.
Okay. All right, let me see if there's any more questions that you guys would like to answer.
See some comments about pirate faction changes.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
That's a really awesome topic, and I actually am not up to date with what Korea has released as far as information goes, so I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but as a long-term pirate player and somebody who really found the pirate system as a unique part of ArcheAge, I have great expectations for how that system may change in the future. I know that there was one note or developer blog or something that XL put out that was sort of alluding to some changes around the pirate faction, but I think we're going to see great things there.
Right. Yajikaj asks, any information about a new community manager? Here I am. Yep. There we go. Let's see. What else have we got here? Ooh. Oh yeah. What are you allowed to tell us about what Fresh Start progression server gets in the next patch?
I actually need to get information on that because admittedly, that's one of the things that some of the other producers on the team are more familiar with. I'm the one that's sort of focused on, future roadmap and content and sort of the large scale things. So we can get some information. We definitely have that on what Fresh Start will have.
Okay, and for Joey and Jackalope, we're not going to talk any further about compensation for the bears. At this time, they're livestock like any other plantable livestock or plants on your property. So that's just an unfortunate effect of the evolutions at this time. We're not going to do anything.
And I have to say that I'm regretful that that's the case. And if there was a way that we could do that and it would be fair for everybody, then we would. I think one of the biggest challenges there is if we comp bears, then what's the next thing that we're going to comp? And then very quickly it becomes everybody's personal value on their, the valuable things they have on their land. And it's just out of the scope of what we're capable of doing. So super regretful there, but I urge you to consider that if there were ever evolutions in the future, this might also be the case then. So it might make you consider how you've invested in that sort of livestock.
Right. There's a really weird question that's been asked by two people. Does Brass meet Trion's standard of LGBTQ plus gender equality for community managers? Guys, I'm a dwarf. We invented gender fluidity, okay? That's all I got to say on that. All right, so, housing areas. Will there be more?
Not in the Huron Mountains.
That's sort of a loaded question because, yes, this is ArcheAge. There will be more housing zones. In 5.0, we saw Western Huron Mountains and there are none there. But like I said, we are in the point where we're exploring Aurora and who knows what else is out there.
Will Fresh Start get castles?
Another good question. I know that the nation system is hotly debated whether it's effective or not. And maybe there are changes coming to ArcheAge in the future that we'll see influence that. Now, I know that XL has talked briefly about the castle system and changes that might make it more accessible to a wider range of people, yet still preserve the uniqueness that players who fought hard to get it have. But I also think that they realize that on most servers now, especially legacy servers, that few castles are just sort of occupied. They don't really have this living, breathing environment. It's more just like this steady income that some people might have. So that whole system is being reviewed, and who knows? It's going to depend on XL's direction whether or not Fresh gets that.
Okay, guys, we are out of time. We're going to get some of these questions answered for the evolution thread. We'll continue to look for questions on the forums and answer them as best we can. And, sometimes the answer is going to be, we don't know yet, or sometimes the answer is going to be no. Sometimes the answer is going to be maybe. Hopefully we'll be able to get you some sort of answer to your questions. And we shall see you again next week. We'll see what we can come up with to talk about. Good luck with getting your Eagle gliders. Super awesome. Really, really happy to have those in game. I'm going to go try to get one for myself right now. And thank you both for coming back into office and answering these tons of questions.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's a goal of ours to stream more consistently now. I know that's been a thing that's come up. I feel really comfortable talking to you guys. I'm happy to be here on Fridays and give you information that you need. And it's really awesome to see some of you in chat when we first went on the air, giving us some love. It's really great to see you guys as well. So it's my goal to be a bit more consistent. Now I know we're running out of time here, but I saw some of the @TrionWorlds chats in there about progression servers. for new players and things like that. And please save those questions for the upcoming week. We'll do our best to answer those for you. So really appreciate you spending your Friday with us, and I think that's all from me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a great weekend,
Okay,
everybody.
take care, guys. Thanks.